Venu, am I audible to you?
Yes, you are audible.
Hi, Habeed. Can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you, Gunjan.
Habib would be the presenter, right?
Yeah, Habeeb, is Hitesh and there's one more person to join. Are they joining?
Yep, I'm checking with them. They should join. Shivender will be presenting the first 30 minutes, and Hitesh will take over the next 30 minutes.
Okay. So we'll start with you.
Sure.
Okay.
Gunjan, 1 minute. Gunjan, I had one more call.
Okay, Venu.
If any issue is there to add to enable them as a presenter, please do that.
Sure. I'll do that, Venu. No worries. Thank you. And Habeeb, do you quickly want to check your screen share if you're able to do that?
Gunjan, the first 30 minutes needs to be done by Shivender. I'm just checking with him. If you can give 2 more minutes.
Okay,
Yeah?
just try for sharing any screen and then you can leave it.
Sure.
Yeah.
To ensure.
Yeah. I'm just sharing a blank screen. Hope you guys are able to see that.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful.
Right. All set.
Oh, I could see 3 students have joined in. So students, just stay tuned. We'll start at 4, the time that we have mentioned you.
Hi, Venu.
Hi, Vaishnavi.
Yeah.
Vaishnavi, this is all set. We have tested even the voice and the content sharing also.
Okay, so there are 4 other Microsoft people from Microsoft who will be.
They can join.
Joining.
Gunjan has experience on this. She can manage if they want to be made them as presenter or whatever maybe.
So, ठीक है.
Yeah, I want to move to HR event.
Okay.
Anchal is leading another call, so I should move there. Richard is there on this call. So Richard, you can ping me if any issue is there. Okay.
Sure. Thank you, Venu.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Hey Habeed, hey Hitesh, hi all.
Hi everyone.
Hey.
Yes.
Hello. Who's taking care of the logistics? Vaishnavi?
Yeah.
So I had communicated this. Yes.
Okay. Vaishnavi, this entire call, is it happening on Teams?
Yes. So it's happening on Teams.
Okay. Because I heard the number was more, so just wanted to just check with you whether Teams can hold that number.
Not sure on that one, but yeah, we were like strictly asked to hold it on Teams and not on any other platform. So.
Okay. So do you have? Okay. So there's nothing posted or nothing to share screen and show now, right?
As of now, no. There will be students who will be joining in, so we are just waiting for them. The session ideally begins by 4. So.
Okay.
Mansi, not sure why you're here though. So this is an FRT call. This is for the students. If you want, you can drop off.
Actually, I received the invitation. I'm just checking what's going on. Nothing
Acha,
else.
okay. So actually, you might have received this invitation for Find Out at Founded for that event.
No worries, no worries.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, Hitesh. Hey, Juliet.
Hey, hi Gunjan.
Hi. So we have Vaishnavi also here. Hi. I think students are joining, so let's give it a few more minutes.
Sure.
Hello,
Hey,
everyone.
hi Shivender.
Hi, Shivendra. So we're just waiting for the students to come. Do you want to quickly check sharing your screen if your screen can be
Yes.
shared?
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Okay, great. I hope it is visible.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Perfect.
Great. So a very good afternoon, students. We'll give it 5 more minutes for the rest of the people to join in. And then we'll start sharp at 5 p.m. Hi, a very good evening to everyone who has joined the session. So let's now start. I know that there would be students who will be joining in a while, but don't worry, the session will get recorded. So you can go ahead and later also catch on to the part that you have missed. So first of all, a very happy new year to all the students who are joined with us, and join me in welcoming the Microsoft experts who have come on the call today to help you with your project journey. So we have with us Hitesh, we have Habeed, Shivender, and Juliet who are there with us. So join me in welcoming them and take maximum, I would say, advantage of their knowledge, their experience. They're going to take you through how you can go ahead and move into your project journey. I would first like to thank you all and also congratulate in terms of the efforts that you have put in and being a part of this program. It shows your commitment towards learning and how much you are interested to learn these on-demand technologies and make your future into it. With this, I'll hand it over to the team to take it over. And I'm putting it on mute. Vaishnavi, if you can please start the recording so that we can then later publish this on the YouTube channel. Over to you, team.
Yeah, so the session is already getting recorded. We can begin.
Thank you, Vaishnavi. Thank you, Gunjan, and thank you, folks, for taking out time of your busy schedule and going ahead and trying to be a part of this amazing project. And we are really enlightened to come over here and share our inputs, right? So that's very important, and we really feel that this is going to go a long way. So once again, I'm going to welcome you all and Happy New Year to everyone, and best of luck for the projects that you will be doing. So, folks, this is Project Lighthouse, which is in line with the future ready, the future ready talent, which you all might have been aware of. So, in this specific session, we will first of all go ahead and share our inputs regarding what exactly FRT is, what is Project Lighthouse, right? What is the importance? And then we will go ahead and we will give you certain insights on how to progress with this journey. So, how to go ahead and create your projects, what all different checkpoints will be there, which you need to be aware of. And then finally, what is going to happen after the project is submitted, right? So, first of all, please feel free, as very rightly said by Gunjan, please feel free to share any of your queries, any question which you might have into the chat section, and one of the team members will go ahead and will pick it up. Right. So before we start, folks, I'll just want to give you a glimpse that Project Lighthouse, which is in line with FRT, will ask you to go ahead and create projects which is going to need finesse, right? So the project has to be finesse. It has to go ahead and resolve some real-time problem which might be there in different verticals. So I'll cover all of this with you. So here we are, and let's get started. So folks, first of all, let me go ahead and let me introduce myself. My name is Shivender Pratap Singh. I am a Microsoft technical trainer, right? And in total, I've got 12 years of industry experience. I started my professional journey as a data center operative. So I went ahead and I worked with data centers, and then I went ahead and I moved on to cloud. It's almost 6.5 years now. I'm working on cloud and delivering trainings uh, whenever I get time. So I'm a machine learning and quantum computing enthusiast. So whenever I've got time, you'll find me going ahead and working on one of these things. As far as the certifications are concerned, I currently hold 5 Azure certifications, starting from architect till developer. So just to name a few, AZ1 not 4, AZ3 not 5, AZ2 not 4 is what I hold. And I also hold 11 AWS certifications as well. So that's about me. I have got my great mentors, my friends and colleagues alongside me here who are going to help you out, right? So it's a team. So I would like to go ahead and give over the podium to Hitesh, and I would invite him to go ahead and introduce himself. Hitesh,
Yes.
please go ahead.
I'll go quick. So this is Hitesh. I'm in IT ITS industry since past 22 years now, and I hold 100 plus industry-wide certifications. The slide was a bit small to paste all those particular icons out there, so I have just pasted a few there. MCT since 2006, almost 17 years as an MCT. And I'm also a regional post lead for AZ 500, AZ 700. So that's about me. I have been training since past 22 years, which we already have spoken about. More than 40 countries and 1,000 plus corporate trainings what I have delivered. So that's me. Over to you, Shivender.
Thank you, Hitesh. Thank you very much. And then, folks, I would also like to invite Habeed to the podium. So over to you, Habeed. Please go ahead and please share the insights with us.
Thanks, Shivender. Welcome, everyone. My name is Mohammad Habeed. I work for Microsoft as a technical trainer, 15 plus years of experience, primarily an IT infrastructure and security guy. I have about 20 plus certifications in different domains of IT, infra, and security. So any questions associated with that, please feel free to jump in, post your questions in the chat, and I and my team would be able to assist you with that. Thanks, Shivender.
Thank you, Habeed. So, folks, this is what we have now. Let me quickly share the agenda with you, right, folks? So, in this entire presentation session, this is directed towards giving you a know-how of what the project is all about, what all different points you have to keep in mind when you are preparing for the project. How can you go ahead and browse through the portal, right? And how exactly we will go ahead and we will look at your projects and what all different points you have to keep in mind from the project approval perspective. Before I go and before I start the agenda, just to let you know, folks, this session is to just give you insights. So here we will not be talking about how to go ahead and redeem, the Azure subscription which you might have got. For that, there will be a different forum. And, you can always go ahead and connect with our members later on to get more details onto that. In this session, we will not be covering how to redeem the Azure subscription. We will go ahead and we will talk about the project guidelines. We will also talk about, how to get started with the project, what all different things you have to keep in mind, the tips and tricks to complete the project, because there will be multiple checkpoints. So in total, folks, there will be 3 checkpoints which will be there in any project. So how can you cruise through all of these checkpoints without any challenges? And then we are going to open up the podium for Q&A. So in case you have got any query, any question, please feel free to put that into the chat section. We will go and we'll be more than happy to take it. And we'll try our best to resolve all your queries. All right. So moving on with the project guidelines, folks. So I hope everybody is aware of the FRT, the future ready talent, and I think all of you will also have a little bit idea of the different rules and regulations which are a part of this particular internship program. So just to give you a brief idea, folks, this is actually a virtual internship platform which we have designed for students, especially to go ahead and to narrow down the skill gap which comes there from the cloud computing perspective. So in this particular internship platform, you will go and you will learn in-demand technology skills from Microsoft Azure perspective. You will also get an idea of certain real-world problems which are prevailing and how we can tackle these problems using the power of Microsoft Azure and GitHub tools. So folks, please ensure that you all create your GitHub account, because that is very important and pivotal in the success of this virtual internship platform. So Microsoft Azure and GitHub accounts will be very important. So just keep that thing in mind. And this specific internship program, folks, is in lieu with national occupational standards. So you can go ahead and you can use this project and it can be considered for credits as per the national education policy. So let it be an autonomous university, let it be a deemed to be university or an institute of national importance. You can go ahead and you can make use of this to get academic credits towards the internship completion. So the recommendation is 6 credits or above based on the discretion, right? And this is only for the students who will successfully complete the internship. So that's very important, and that's something which is going to go ahead and encourage you actively participating into this particular program. Now, folks, we need to start with a project. It is very important. We need to have project in place, and the project has to be well knit. It has to be prepared well in advance, and there has to be a platform you need to follow. So very first thing is project title, right? It's like, I hope everybody agrees with me that first impression, you can say, is the last impression, right? So the very first thing which you present, right, according to human behavior, the very first thing has to be crisp, and it should grasp the attention of the audience, right? So when you start with your project, the very first thing you need to do is choose an innovative project title, right? So I can go and I can maybe say uh, you know improve the soil quality, for example, right? So any catchy, any innovative project title is something which you need to go ahead and you need to first of all pick up. So there will be a lot of brainstorming which you might have to do before you come up with that catchy phrase or something. So that's the first part. The second part, right, is to choose the project from these domains. So you can see the domains over there, on your screens: Earth, EdTech, FinTech, Healthcare, Lifestyle. Right. So these are the different domains on a basis which your projects will be created. So it's very important for us to identify any of these domains well in advance and then construct our project around it. Just to give you a brief idea, if I talk about Earth, right? So if you look at Earth, which is the first domain, Earth-based projects can be, let's say I want to go ahead and I want to collect climate-based data or the meteorological data for India, let's say, or maybe any other country of the past 1 year. And then I might go ahead and I might want to do analysis to understand how much the climate has changed in the past 1 year and what will be its effect in the coming century or maybe in the coming decade, right? So that can be one thing. You can also go and you can also try to create a project on the lines of, let's say, how the soil quality is getting degraded year by year and what is the effect of it on the agriculture, right? So that those can be Earth-based projects. If I talk about EdTech, right? EdTech is very good example I can quote over here is how to make use of Chat GPT, right? So you have got Chat GPT, which is now pretty widely used, right? So in EdTech, if you can find a way of creating a project basis this, so these are just ideas, folks, right? So whatever I'm saying, these are just ideas, just hints to go ahead and let you know how exactly the project should be created. So you know uh, Chat GPT, and then you go and you configure your own local Chat GPT maybe onto a machine, and then you go and you feed some important data into it. Maybe let's say uh, as a student, I want to go and I want to build my career in for example, let's say in astronomy, right? What will be the path I have to take? Right. So you can go and you can create a project based on Chat GPT, wherein a person can come and can ask a question that what will be the learning path if I want to go and if I want to become an astronomer, and what will be the different what will be the different resources I have to go and I have to access, right? So edtech can be that can be one of the examples for edtech. Fintech, folks, very important. Fintech is evolving. You can say it's evolving at a rapid rate. You might have heard about companies spending millions of dollars creating models which can help identify fraudulent and non-fraudulent credit card transactions. That's just one example, right? Fintech companies will always have some compliance in place. So can you go and can you deliver a project which can automatically mask any PII, if there's any PII which is exposed from the customer documentation? So folks, when I say PII, I'm actually referring to personally identifiable information, right? So those kind of projects can be a part of fintech. Coming on to healthcare, very important. How you can go ahead and analyze data set, like you can go and you can make use of, so here I can give you an idea. You can make use of a data set for diabetes, which is available on the Irvine University website. You can go ahead and you can use that, and you can create a model, maybe predicting the probability of diabetes based on the different personal health records of the different candidates which are there, right? So that can be one of the projects you can think of in healthcare. Lifestyle, right? How I can go ahead and how I can create AR, VR kind of experience in gaming, right? So these can be few ideas which you can ponder upon. You can bring your own ideas as well, but this is how exactly your project should be looking like from the different domain perspective. So always remember, when you are designing your project, folks, it has to be based on the any of these five domains. Choose the technology of your own choice. So when I say technology, folks, you can go with machine learning, you can go with deep learning, you can go with IoT. IoT is playing a very pivotal role. For IoT, folks, I can give you one very good example: cold chains, right? How there's a lot of food wastage which happens with cold chains. So can I design something which is based on, let's say, I'll give you an idea, Azure IoT Hub. Can I design a solution on Azure IoT Hub and go ahead and make my cold chain efficient, right? So choose the technology of your own choice. You can go with chatbots, right? You can go and you can also create some content-based project, right? Wherein a customer goes ahead and uploads photos of their pets, and then the photo is compressed, and looking at the different objects in that photo, you also do sentiment analysis. Those kind of things can be done. So choose the technology of your choice. One thing to remember in your project is the usage of minimum of 2 Azure services. Now, we are not stopping you to choose more than that, but when we will gauge the project detail, right, the project which you will go ahead and submit, when we'll gauge it, we will look for at least 2 Azure services. And this will be the differentiating factor, folks. If you fail to use a minimum of 2 Azure services, then the project may not get approved, right? So that is very important. That's why it's highlighted in red that a minimum of 2 Azure services should be used. So if I talk about the entire project, folks, right, the project actually will be divided into two parts. The first part will be project synopsis. All the details which I've shared with you as of now, that will be part of your project synopsis. So if you want, you can make a note of that. Project synopsis will be the first part of your project, wherein you will first of all choose an innovative project title. You will choose the domain, which domain you want to work upon. You will choose the technology of your choice. You will also make sure that you use at least 2 Azure services. So that's a part of the planning. Then in the project synopsis part itself, folks, right, you need to go ahead and you need to let us know, right, what will be the problem statement, right? So what problem you're actually trying to resolve, right? So a problem statement, you can say that it can be of somewhere around 150 words or less. Try to keep it as crisp as possible, right? So 150 words, wherein you will define the project statement, the problem statement, what exactly the problem you're trying to resolve, and what is the opportunity, right? So that is very important. And then you also need to do a project description, which will be, you can say, a small paragraph of 250 words, right? So please ensure that you keep all of these things in mind. So just to give you everything in a nutshell, in a chronological order, you'll start with project synopsis first, wherein you will first choose the project title. You will choose which domain you want to work on. You will choose the technology of your choice. You will use a minimum of 2 Azure services. You will specify the problem statement, the opportunity, which can be of ideally somewhere around 150 words or less. And finally, there will be project description. So that's what exactly you will be looking at. So these are few, you can say, few nitty gritties of the project, which you have to keep in mind. How to get started with the project, right? So what all exactly you need, right? So first thing is, folks, obviously, nothing can be done without the Azure subscription, right? So all of you would have got instructions, guidelines on how to redeem the Azure subscription. So first, you need to redeem the Azure subscription. Once it's redeemed, log into the portal. So portal is portal.azure.com. So log into the portal. and see if your subscription is coming over there. For example, just to give you a brief idea, just give me a minute. Let me go to the browser and let me share it real quick with you. So that's how exactly the portal is going to look like. And you just have to log in, whatever email address you have registered. For you, most probably it is going to be your university email address. So just log in and check whether you have got the subscription redeemed properly or not. So just to give you an idea, let the portal load. And yeah, in the search bar, you just type in subscriptions. All right. So subscriptions, just go to subscriptions. And there you will see whether the subscription is listed or not. If the subscription is listed, yes, you have successfully redeemed the Azure subscription. If not, then you might have to find the Azure subscription which you might have got, and you need to follow the process again of redeeming it, right? So you just have to repeat the process. Now, folks, the subscription is going to come with a specific amount. You just cannot provision resources at an unlimited rate. So you need to be judicious over there. Use the Azure subscription judiciously. If, for example, I'll give you a tip over here. If you're spinning up a virtual machine and if you're not using it, stop it. Stop the machine, deallocate, let it go into the deallocate state, right? If you're doing some testing and the testing is successfully completed, you don't need the virtual machine anymore, just go ahead and delete the virtual machine. If let's say you are going ahead and provisioning anything on containers, please ensure that you delete those containers or purge those containers if you don't need them. All right. So use the subscription judiciously. Please go ahead and create resources only when needed. And as I said, delete the resources once you're done. All right. So that's how exactly you will go ahead and you will have a look at the subscription part. Moving on. Certain tips and tricks to complete your project, right? So I will go ahead and I will quote certain examples, folks. I would like to show you certain examples. So one simple project can be you going ahead and you creating a web app service, accessing the storage account, right? How exactly it's going to look like? Let's go ahead and let's have a look, right? Just give me a minute. Yeah, here is the portal. So what you can do, you can go to app services, right? So very simple. So the first part, which I'm talking about, you create the app service, right? So you create a simple app service and then you need to find out a way. So I'm not going to show you over here how to get an app service connected to a storage account, right? So you have to find out a way how you will go ahead and you will connect to a storage account at the backend, because these are two different resources, folks, right? App service is different. And if I duplicate the tab and let's me go to the different resource, which I was talking about. It's taking a little while today. Okay, yeah. Storage accounts, right? So you go to the storage account. This is also a different service. Now, by default, folks, services in Azure do not interact with each other. You need to find out a way of doing it, right? So this can be one of the idea for your project, a very simple project, infrastructure based. So this is infrastructure based project you are looking at, right? So that's first. Second can be, folks, web app service accessing Azure SQL database, all right? So this is also pretty useful. So for this, right, I can go ahead and I can give you a fair idea, right? So folks, this is only idea. Please do not try to replicate the same exact thing, right? Because everybody over here knows that what exactly I'm going ahead and covering, right? So don't replicate it. This is just for your understanding. All right. So this is Visual Studio, folks. So if you want, for your coding, right, you will do code, right? Obviously, it will be there. So for doing coding, you should go ahead and you should use some sort of IDE, right? Visual Studio can be used, right? No problems. You can also go ahead and you can also use your own IDE, right? So please have a look at the different IDEs of your choice. You can make use of PyCharm, you can make use of Eclipse, whatever you feel like. Uh, I work with Visual Studio, and folks, you can configure Visual Studio to be used with any programming language. All right. So a sample app, I will go ahead and I will just open it for you. Right. So it's a very simple solution which I have created, and this is actually the same tip which I have shared with you, right? So here I have created an app, right? So there's an app service. This app is running on app service, and using private static string, I'm actually going ahead and connecting to a DB. Now, folks, please don't try using these username and these, endpoints. These are not going to work because these resources have already been deleted. Okay, so don't try going ahead and using these. But yes, this is one way of going ahead and creating an app service which can connect to a SQL database at the backend. Now, from where exactly you'll get the SQL database, right? Now you have got multiple options. Right? You can go ahead and you can make use of Azure SQL, for example. So let me go ahead and let me go over here and let's talk about SQL. So you can go to SQL databases and you can create a SQL database, and this is going to be completely managed. All right. So you don't have to worry about going ahead and putting any infrastructure at the backend. So this is one more thing, one more you can say tip to go ahead and create infrastructure-based projects, right? So a web app service accessing storage account or maybe a Azure SQL database. And folks, it's up to you. As I said, you have to create finesse in your project, right? So you'll have to go ahead and you have to think out of the box. Try creating an application which is 3-tier in nature. Right. You can create custom tier applications as well. Now there's a lot of digging we need to do over there. So you have Microsoft Learn at your rescue. All of these things can be found in Microsoft Learn, how to go about them. Right. So that's one of the ways of going ahead and handling the projects. One more kind of project can be, web app service from virtual machines. Right. So what you do, you go ahead and you spin up Azure virtual machines. And after spinning up Azure virtual machine, you host your website in there and you go ahead and you access it. Or you can also have, your web tier, the web app hosted on app service, and Azure virtual machine can also act as a store at the backend. All right. So that can also be one of the projects which you can create. You can have event driven applications as well. All right. So, and this is something which is pretty widely used these days, folks. So event-driven application is wherein you go ahead and you do not spin up any infrastructure, right? Infrastructure is used only when a specific event occurs. Think of a scenario. And this scenario I've already shared with you earlier. The scenario is, folks, I have a content-based application. And let's say that application is helping customers understanding the moods of their pets. So what customer does? Customer uploads a picture of the pet, right? Just to understand from the picture what exactly is the mood of that pet at that specific point of time. So the time customer uploads the picture, Azure function should get triggered. So folks, Azure function is actually a service in Azure wherein you just have to specify the code. So you write your code in any runtime. It supports Ruby, it supports .NET, it supports Golang, it supports Python, it supports Node.js, it supports Java, right? So you write your code in any programming language. You put the code in Azure function, and whenever that code will be triggered, so you can trigger that code with HTTP methods, right? Somebody uploading any picture to storage account, that can trigger Azure function, right? So it gets triggered. The underlying infrastructure is taken care of by Azure itself. You really don't have to worry about running servers. So Azure function gets triggered, and what Azure function does, it checks the picture, performs sentiment analysis, looking at the picture, whether the pet is neutral in mood, happy or sad, and then goes ahead and returns it back to the user. So think of it as a request and response kind of scenario. So that can also be one of the foundation of your projects. From machine learning perspective, you can go ahead and you can make use of translator. So Azure Cognitive Services gives you a function of translator as well, folks, right? So translator is you would and use translation between different languages, right? It's just like with different translators we get in market, but again, you created by yourself. Another can be computer vision based, folks, right? So you can go ahead and you can think of a scenario here. Here's a very good use case I can give you, and you can do some more brainstorming on this. You all would have interacted with banks, right? And you all will be aware of the fact that banks give out loans to the customers, right? Now, put yourself in a time machine and go 10 years back. 10 years back, if I wanted to apply for a loan, if I wanted to apply for a credit card, I used to go and I used to specify, I used to get the documents specified by the bank. Bank will collect these documents, and it used to take a very good sweet amount of time, somewhere around 15 to 20 days, for me to get an update whether the application was accepted or rejected. But look at these times, there are apps available wherein they guarantee that you upload your pictures, you upload your identity, you upload your documents, and you do the KYC. Within 2 minutes, we'll tell you whether the loan or credit card is being approved or not. What is happening at the background? How are we able to witness this paradigm shift in the timelines? It's because of solutions like OCR at the back end. So nowadays, majority of the banks, folks, what exactly they do? They have an automated document workflow in place. From the time customer uploading the project, uploading the document, right? The OCR, the character recognition extracts in meaningful information out of those documents, follows a series of checks. If every stage is a yes, yep, customer is eligible for a credit card. If at any stage it's no, do we need more information from the customer? Sent back to the customer. No, we don't need more information. This is something which is against our internal credit policy. Deny the request, right? That's what exactly OCR can do. So using OCR, folks, you can have those kind of, automated document workflows. Just to give you the starting point, right? What I can go and what I can share over here is few Microsoft Learn articles. So have a look over here. And this is very good to ensure that you use multiple tools, folks. So it's a quick start guide, and this is from IoT perspective, that MX chip AZ3166 dev kit to IoT hub. So here you will be using 3 services, right? 3 services will be there, and these 3 services, uh, will go ahead and uh, these 3 services will ensure that you go and you create a simulator. First of all, so MX chip AZ3166 dev kit is a simulator. You can go and you can create a simulator. And whenever there will be a customer request coming in, you'll see a LED, right? A light going ahead and getting lit on. So you have 2 options. Either you use the simulator or you go and you purchase the hardware MX chip. So that's one. And it starts from very basics. What are the prerequisites? How will you prepare the development environment? How will you create the cloud components? How you will prepare the device? How will you view the telemetry? Very important, folks. In majority of the IoT solutions, telemetry makes things easier. You can go ahead and you can do analysis, right? And I have seen organizations reducing, for example, I gave you the cold chain use case, right? I have seen cold chain customers going ahead and reducing the wastage just by analyzing telemetry in real time, right? If you encounter an issue, troubleshoot and debug. There is, again, this GitHub available wherein you, again, want to, like I myself created a project a long time ago wherein I used a Raspberry Pi board and I attached a DTH sensor to it, right? So just to ensure that, let's say for our farmers, right? Farmers are our best friend, right? Just to make them ensure that the soil gets saturated with specific amount of water, and if it goes beyond that, we should be notified, right? DTH sensors can be used pretty easily, right? So, Raspberry Pi setup, if you want to simulate a device, that is also available. So this is a pretty useful, a GitHub space, which can give you a lot of idea about the projects. And then this is very important. And here, folks, I would like to show you something which is going to give you a fair idea of the things. It's a complete pipeline. Have a look at this particular architecture. A complete pipeline. So you do not go and you do not spin up any infrastructure, All right. You go ahead and you create a pipeline. Whenever there is a change in the code, right, you will see that the entire pipeline gets triggered and everything is all is implemented or deployed. Right. A very useful article. Let me share these details with all of you. So the things may get a little easier. Just go through these. We'll give you a fair idea. Right. So let me quickly share it with all of you. So I just shortlisted these two, three because these sounded pretty interesting. You can go ahead and Microsoft Learn, folks, is a mine, right? So you can go ahead and you can just keep on digging, and let me assure you, you're not going to stop finding gold, right? So that's few of the ideas from the project perspective, right? And then very important part, after toiling so hard, after putting everything, my project should get approved, right? So we need to be aware of the project evaluation criteria as well. So there are certain criteria points, folks, which you have to keep in mind. First thing is alignment to industry. So please do not forget those domains, right? What are those domains? Earth, EdTech, FinTech, healthcare, lifestyle, right? Whether your project aligns to that industry, that vertical, right? If it's a yes, you move on with the approved stage. If it's a no, then you might get it back to ensure that you align it to the right industry. And this may also happen, folks, that once you go ahead and once you submit an entry, we may find out that whatever vertical you have stated, that vertical does not hold true for that project, but that project actually goes ahead and aligns itself better with a different vertical. We can do that reassignation. Okay. So that's the first evaluation point. Second, folks, you have to be crisp, clear in the project title, problem statement, and the project description. And this has to align with the vertical which you are taking up. If everything is in place, yep, you move further ahead with the approval process. If not, you might get it back, and there are chances that your project may get rejected, right? So take a lot of time, do brainstorming, right, for the title, problem statement, so the entire project synopsis part, right? Core Azure services, please check minimum of 2. So, just do a revision before you submit the project and see whether you are using a minimum of 2 Azure services or not. If not, then obviously the project will not get approved. But yes, you are free to use more Azure services provided you keep in mind the subscription pillar as well, right? When you will do the project submission, folks, the project has to be hosted on GitHub. So if you have not created your GitHub account, please do it. Please do it now. Whenever you get time today itself, let's go ahead and let's close this, right? And you need to go and you need to give the project demo URL. Obviously, you will have some place where the customers or where people like us will interact with your application, right? So maybe you hosted your solution on virtual machines which are running behind a load balancer, right? We need the URL of that load balancer so that we can interact with it, right? So keep these two things in mind, very important. And finally, please do not submit the projects which do not work, right? So just ensure that the project is a working model. So if it's a working model, obviously you will go through the entire approval process. So 4 things in mind, folks, very important. Align to a domain, the 5 domains which we have listed. If not, then it may get rejected. Ensure the project title, problem statement, opportunity, and project description is in place and it's crystal clear. Use don't try to make it lengthy, folks. Try to keep it as small as possible. We say 150 words for problem statement. It's not an essay writing competition that you have to ensure that I go and I meet 150 words. No, even 100 words will work. So if you can go and if you can express yourself in those many less words, that's fine with us. Core Azure services, third point, please ensure you use a minimum of 2. And please do not forget to submit the project link and the project demo URL. And please check your project again and again, whether it works or not. How exactly the entire process is going to look like? Let's have a look at that as well. So I just want to give you a feel over there, like how exactly that works. Just give me a minute. I actually went ahead and opened up the portal. Yes. Here we go. So folks, that's how exactly the portal is going to look like. So I hope all of you would have already registered by going to futurereadytalent.in. This is the URL you need to go to, right? So futurereadytalent.in, you need to go and you need to sign up. So I have already signed up. So you can see my name over there and you can see sign out. For you, it will say either login or sign up. So you sign up, all of you would have already done it, and you will go ahead and you will get a verification code on your email. Obviously, it's most probably going to be your university email. Okay, so you'll get a verification code. Just put the verification code, and that verifies your email. Until and unless your email is not verified, you will not get access. And then you need to update my profile, folks. There are certain very important fields. For example, right, which college you're doing the graduation from, what is the field, what is the specialization, and you also have to upload your college mail ID or the photo ID, or you might have to upload the mark sheet. Any one of those will work. So you need to upload that. One more thing which you have to keep in mind is, folks, so let me open up, my profile, right? Just give me a minute. Right, yeah, over here. So here you can see you need to specify the details. One very important thing is, folks, in your profile, you need to specify Microsoft Learn, your own MS Learn article of your profile, the Future Skills Prime. So I have not signed up for it. You need to sign up for it first, and then you need to put that email ID. GitHub, as I said, you need to create your GitHub account. You need to specify your LinkedIn URL as well. Now, how to get this Microsoft Learn URL? So it's very simple, folks. Let me share this document with you. This is going to help you out. Here we go. So I've shared the URL. What you need to do is just go to Microsoft Learn. Okay. So go to Microsoft Learn. So learn.microsoft.com, pretty simple. You need to first sign in, folks. I've already signed in. You need to sign in first with your account. So I'm already signed in. Go to profile. So learn.microsoft.com, sign in, and then go to the profile. The time you click on profile, you will see that the URL gets changed at the top. So for me, it's learn.microsoft.com/en-users/Shivender Pratap Singh -9857. That is my ID. Copy it, come back, put it over here. Okay, so you need to click on profile, and then all of these URLs you get. Once you update all of these things, you need to go and you need to go through the orientation, right? So orientation is again filling up academic details and so on. And then self-learning will get activated. So once you finish the orientation, folks, self-learning will get activated. Anything you want to know from GitHub perspective, you will find a video of that under self-learning. So under self-learning, there will be a video which will give you end-to-end information about GitHub, right? So there are multiple videos available. Since few of you may be new to GitHub, so you might want to get those details. So self-learning will be there. There are some industry sessions you can go and attend. These two are very important, folks. So first, you will start with project synopsis. You cannot proceed to project submission until and unless project synopsis is not done. So when you go to the project synopsis, again, those things which I've mentioned earlier: project title, problem statement, opportunity, which industry vertical you are working on, problem description, the project description. You need to specify all of that. You need to specify, your demo URL. You need to specify your GitHub URL as well. You have the option of saving it as draft, right? So in case the work is in progress, you're still working on it, under project synopsis, you can just choose save as draft. In order to submit your project, you need to go ahead and select review and submit. The time you do that, you will go to project submission phase, wherein again, you need to specify the demo URL, you need to specify the Git URL, and then you can finally submit the project. This is the flow which you need to go through on futurereadytalent.in website to get all of things working. Right. I hope this is pretty clear with every one of us. And this goes ahead and this takes me to the place wherein I would like to open up the podium for any Q&A, any query which you might have, and our friends, our team members will go ahead and will pick up your queries and will answer it for you. So that's what exactly we have in place. I hope I was able to give you a fair idea of how things are going to work. How you have to go ahead and you have to look at the project wise, what all different best practices, what are the different resources you can go through. And folks, please do not underestimate GitHub. It's a very rich portal. So over there, you'll find a lot of projects available, which will give you a starting point. So try to explore that as well. So by this, folks, I come to the end of my presentation. And with this, I would like to invite Hitesh, anything you would like to add? Gunjan, anything you would like to add over here? Please feel free to do that.
Right. So one thing is we have shared a couple of links out there. In fact, not couple, but many. Would request all of you to just copy those links as of now from the chat and then visit those links. Some of them are really great. Some of them relates to some architecture centers. Some of them are examples, and some of those are links to some demos, etc., which you can go through, which can help you to build up your project. So make sure that you copy those particular links. And now we hand over the session to you, all participants. Ask us anything on the project which you want to. What kind of services would you like to use? Or if you are planning for a particular project but not sure what exactly would go in well there, which service I should use, please go ahead and shoot. Ask your questions. We are all ears.
Thank you so
Great.
much, Shivendra and Hitesh. It was really amazing. And sorry, you were saying something.
No, I'm so sorry. I actually wanted to go ahead and ask you, Gunjan, like anything you would like to add before we go ahead and go ahead with the Q&A.
So even I had the pen and a notepad with me, and I was also learning. I was taking notes. It was amazing, very, very nice. And I think I'm sure the students would have been benefited a lot, because these are the students who have actually walked half of their journey, and this is the last milestone that they have to cross before they get the internship certificate and then get connected to the career opportunities that we have in stores for them. Right. So on this note, students, now you have an opportunity to go ahead and ask your question. I'll just call out few house rules and then we'll start with the interaction. If you have a question, please raise your hand. You would see a raise icon there. We'll call out your name. You can come and unmute yourself and you can ask your questions, right? We'll go in sequence. So I could see the first hand coming up, and don't shy away. See, no question is a stupid question or no question is a very simple question. Don't think that people would judge you. If they want to do, let them. But you come and you ask your question, whatever is in your mind. Feel this as is your opportunity to get all your queries, all your questions that you have in mind resolved. But just keep this question around the content part of it, what the mentors have covered with you. Anything which is on the logistical challenge, deadlines are not there, attempts have exhausted and all that, please put it in the chat. Me and Vaishnavi will take up those questions for you, right? So yes, we'll go to the very first question. It's Jani Basha. Can you go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question? And I hope that is how your name is being pronounced.
Hi, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yes, please go ahead.
So myself, Jani Basha, sir. So I have completed the 3 badges of Microsoft Azure, which was AI Fundamental and AI Azure Fundamental and AI Data Security. So after that, completing the certificates, so like what kind of project I have to be submitted in those internship certificate?
The main question that you should ask is which of these technologies attract you more? I mean, is it the infrastructure? Is it the security? Is it the DevOps model? Or is it the integration where the AI comes into picture? Or is it just the network? So cloud is a plethora of things, right? So first you have to align your idea with one of those project guidelines. Like, is it going to be fintech or is it going to be edtech or agriculture related? Once you have that path set, from the courses that you have attended and from your past experiences during your academic years, which one suits you best? I mean, I can tell you, hey, go with AI. AI is fancy. Why don't you create a chatbot which answers questions for your project automatically for a given topic? But is that the strength of yours, right? We don't know your strengths. So that's what we say. Check your strengths, map it with the path that you have set for your project, and then select the technology. It can be any two simple things, guys. What I would suggest is from the chat box, I've given a link called Azure Architecture Center. That should be your starting point. And then if you see here, if you go to that link, you have multiple sublinks available, depending upon the technology. So you click on the technology, you would get an example. Hey, this is how you can align this technology with this use case. So you can make use of those case studies or the use cases to create your own project.
Thank you, sir. It's my another question was, so after getting the certificate of Indian certificate of Microsoft Azure and the future ready talent, so how can we use it for the job purpose? Like in which way we can use it? Like which job will be suitable for the which company will be updated for it?
Again, it comes to back to the same question. What's your stream? I mean, if you're an engineering student, which stream you belong to? And then how that stream has helped you evolve with your project. And then you have to target. See, when we when we target cloud, cloud is not limited to Azure, right? You have multiple companies. But Azure
Yes.
came forward to support you with that, which means once you have acquired that knowledge, you can go for any technological company. Like, for example, when I was out of college, I started as a technical support engineer, right? I used to support desktops, but I ended up with cloud. But if you already have cloud knowledge, you can start right away as a system engineer, or you can start as a consultant. Or I don't say you can start right away as an architect because it needs a lot of experience and then experience with all the technologies. But system engineer is something which you can look out for. It's like step one. And then if you want to, if you have any prior experiences from your previous part-time jobs like sales or anything, you can also look out for something which is into pre-sales part of it with technology, not just the selling part, right? So it completely depends on what stream of engineering or education path you have completed, how that stream has helped you with your project, and target the technology companies. Because India is the only country, touch wood, that is not affected with all this, recession at the moment, right? Because of the companies that we have come forward. For example, Flipkart is a very good example, right? When we talk about fintech, when we talk about e-commerce. So there are a lot of companies which are growing within India. Who knows, one of us or one of you can start up that company that we're talking about. So yeah, just have your path clear. Don't stand on multiple ships at the same time. That's what I keep telling to my college students. And don't feel shy to ask questions, because if you're not asking questions, we are not learning. And if you're not learning, you're not growing, right? So feel free. So this is what I would say. Your study stream, your project, and then the next step would be depending upon those first two steps. Yeah, thanks.
And then my last question, sir. So actually, I was studying the BTech CSE and AI fundamentals. Sorry, AI, artificial intelligence and machine language. Basically, my seniors has been told that basically the stream was going on the cloud computing, but they are not allowing me going into the artificial intelligence. So, which is the best way for we go have to go to into the to learn the best concepts?
Okay. I can say go for AI, but I wouldn't say that. What I would say is pick one of these three languages. If you're still in college, what I would suggest is concentrate towards the DevOps stream, because it covers both infrastructure and the development skills required. It could be Java, it could be .NET, or it could be Python. So just Google it or Bing it. So Python, is it the language of the day? Definitely yes. You talk about any cloud platform, whether it is Azure, whether it is AWS, GCP, IBM, VMware, Python has been the backbone, right? You would have heard about orchestration tools like Ansible, Terraform, right? And then you can automate the deployment, CI/CD process. All these things come into play. So what I would suggest is don't listen to everybody and don't get your mind go into multiple directions. So if you ask me if you want to stick to cloud computing, have one programming language for sure. That's going to help you grow. It could be PowerShell as well, right? So you must have one. For example, recently, one of my friends was giving interview for TikTok, right? And then they asked, the first question they asked is, hey, can you write this script in Python to automate something for me? So that's how demand Python is in today's time, right? So stick to one language. I'm not saying Java is bad. Java, .NET, Python will never go. Like Shivender, when he was talking about web applications, he talked about multiple different languages, right? So that's how Azure became a favorite solution for developers, because we give developers the programming language which they already know, the platform where they can put their skills into. So don't worry about getting a job right away. Worry about getting your skill set and then going forward and applying for the jobs. Because I have learned in my jobs, I'm just a BSc graduate, right? So you can think how we have evolved, right? So don't worry about that. Once you get into something, you will start learning. You will start observing things around, and you will evolve.
And thanks, Habeed. I echo that. Even I'm a BSc graduate, right? And that too from a botany honors, which is like a complete non-tech field. And so yes, I would say don't spread yourself thin. Don't go by what is a fad right now. Like this is something which is upcoming. So just get into that. First, identify what are your interest area, what are your strengths, and accordingly work in. And I'm sure you'll find your way. Let's move to the next question. So Pulkit, do you want to unmute yourself and ask a question? The rest of them who are not asking questions, please put yourself on mute. Pulkit, do you want to unmute yourself and ask a question? I could see that you're speaking, but we can't hear you. Do you want to retry connecting?
I'm just guessing Jani Pasha is from Andhra Pradesh because he's so eager asking too many
Yes.
questions. I'm
So
from Andhra too.
Okay.
Are you, Jani?
Great.
Are you from Andhra? Or...
Yes, sir.
Okay, see?
Oh,
Told you.
correct. So, Jani, since Pulkit comes back, do you want to go ahead and ask the remaining question? I think what he's asking are the valid questions and must be in the mind of a lot of other students as well. So he's kind of, I would say, playing the role of representing all the student community there.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
Asking questions is good because if you don't ask, you don't learn. If you don't learn, you don't grow.
Correct.
Sir,
So,
my
Jani,
last
over to
question,
you.
sir. Yes, sir. Sir, is there any slide, similarities in between the cloud computing and Microsoft Azure?
See, cloud computing is just a term, right? If you just bing what is cloud computing, the first basic definition that you get is, hey, on-demand provisioning of IT services over the internet. On-demand means only when you need it. IT services can be anything. So it can be infra, it can be platform, it can be software, it can be any tech, anything as a service, right? Over the internet, because all you need is a browser to access it. So now, who's offering it? Microsoft is offering it. So Microsoft named it Azure. Google is offering it. Google named it GCP. AWS is offering it. So AWS named it with its own name. So cloud computing is an industry standard term. Basic understanding. Yeah,
it's
go ahead.
Like asking difference between cars and Maruti.
Yeah, exactly. Maruti is Azure, car is cloud computing.
Cloud computing, right.
Yeah. I hope
So
I
this.
done.
Thank you for the more information, sir.
No worries. No worries.
Okay, and there's a question that is being posted by Thomas. Thomas, do you want to come out of mute and ask your question? Thomas, are you there in the session right now? I'll read out his question. He's saying, and I'll just see like, is there a follow-up question also? Okay. So he says, let's say if I have an open innovation idea that does not come under the domain you listed, but that solves a problem and it uses Azure function in a working prototype too, will the project get approved?
I think like Shivender mentioned, we have to stick to the verticals of the project guidelines. having multiple innovative ideas is a great thing, but we wanted to limit those ideas to this because these are the areas where India is also growing as a country, right? So these projects are not just gonna help you to get that internship certificate, but these projects can also help you evolve and then demand a good pay when you're interviewing for the other companies, right? So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So Thomas, no problem. Even if there's a background noise, you can just try come out of the mute and just mention what you have as a project idea in your mind. Because when you say it doesn't get aligned to any of the industry, I think we have kind of made industry a little diverse in terms of it kind of gets covered everything. But do you mind coming out of the mute and just share a little idea there? And I think we have a few more hands raised up. Let's see.
Gunjan, there is one more question regarding the group project which Avishkar has asked. So they are doing a group project, and they have got some mismatch of GitHub accounts. So could you please, Gunjan, could you please put some more light onto that so it becomes clear?
Sure. So, for an Avishkar, for you and for the rest of the group also, if they're doing the group projects, see, when we go and evaluate group projects, while we of course evaluate the project in on terms of the guidelines that the group has just lately shared with you, we also see that all the group members has to be added as a collaborator in the repository, right? If they are not, and if we find a mismatch in the name, there's no way for us to ensure that these are the part of your group members, right? So just to safeguard the interests of the rest of the group members who have actually worked on this group, we make this as a criteria, right? So if there's some mismatch which has been done, your project is still under evaluation, I would say write to the support team with all the details and the team will assist you over there, right? And so let's say if you are a group a rep, which is basically a role that we have defined because you do the the project submission on behalf of rest of the students. If in the repository you have not added the name of the rest of the people, then we are sorry, but we'll not be able to give that credit to those students because we really don't know that who the collaborators are, right? So whenever you're doing a group project, ensure that you read through the entire document, you add everybody in, because that's why we have called out all these things well in advance so that we are able to ensure that everybody is getting the the credit of what work they have done together. Okay, so I think another question on the project is being answered. Kaustubh, we have not covered anything on how to activate the Azure subscription. Just look out for an email from us where we'll be sharing the detailed steps with you. You can follow those steps and you'll be able to activate your Azure subscription. So in the session today, we have not covered that. Any other question group? Any questions that you have? Please raise your hand. Otherwise, we'll end the session today so that you can then later go and review the session on the future AI talent. But any more questions? Otherwise, we can wrap up the session for the day. Okay, so I don't see any question coming in.